Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another THW News Flash. My name is Jim Parsons. I'm here with thehockeywriters.com. We've had a handful of trades on Monday heading into the expiration of the NHL Trade Deadline today. The biggest one so far, though, we have to announce right now. Marc-Andre Fleury, goaltender for the Chicago Blackhawks, has been traded to the Minnesota Wild. So here's a player who was coveted by a number of teams, but it was believed would probably not be moved by the Chicago Blackhawks. He wasn't necessarily ready to move his family to a place that he wasn't familiar with, didn't want to uproot everybody. He's a pending UFA at the end of the year, was getting used to being in Chicago. But there was talk that the Minnesota Wild were getting in on this conversation after the Washington Capitals and Edmonton Oilers, maybe even Toronto Maple Leafs, were turned down. The Wild came in and were interested in Fleury, and it was rumored and speculated that he was interested in the Wild, and now that trade has happened. So here's the deal. Marc-Andre Fleury goes to the Minnesota Wild for a second-round conditional pick, which basically means the second will become a first-round pick if the Minnesota Wild, we think, get to the conference finals this year. So Bill Guerin was not interested in moving a first-round pick for the Minnesota Wild. He had let the Blackhawks know about that. The Blackhawks wanted a first-round pick for Marc-Andre Fleury. They've come in the middle here, so it's a conditional first or conditional second, depending on how you want to look at this. Second that could become a first. Now, for the Minnesota Wild, this is huge. There's some questions in goal for them. Cam Talbot and Michael Russo of The Athletic now reporting that Kaapo Kahkonen will be moved in a separate deal. That trade has not happened yet, but he is probably going. So Talbot and Fleury will be the goaltending tandem in Minnesota. Keep in mind the Wild have major salary cap problems next year with Zach Parise and Ryan Suter on buyouts. This is a team that is committed big money to next season. This is the year. This year is the year that they're going to be able to go for it. So that's why they're adding Marc-Andre Fleury. Now, what this means for next season with Fleury and the Wild, we're not really sure. Fleury will probably test free agency as a pending UFA, but you never know. If he likes Minnesota, which we're told that he does, he could stick around at a lower cost, but we'll see what happens here. So the Minnesota Wild have added Marc-Andre Fleury, probably what will be the biggest trade today, Monday, of the trade deadline. Fleury goes to the Minnesota Wild from the Chicago Blackhawks for a first-round conditional pick, which is basically a second, which will become a first if the Minnesota Wild get to the conference finals in the playoffs this year. So Minnesota makes the first real big move on Monday. A few other trades. By the way, they also traded Jack McBain to the Arizona Coyotes, so they kind of flopped that pick that they used in the trade for McBain, the college free agent out of Boston, going to Arizona, and now they've used that second to grab Marc-Andre Fleury. So we'll keep you up to speed on everything else. Check out thehockeywriters.com all day long, the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and don't forget, we got all sorts of trade deadline action coming here until the afternoon on Monday.